Okay, hey everyone. So a few notes about this episode before we get started. So this is one that it's the first thing I ever really recorded for this podcast. It was very much a whim kind of thing. I was going to see my friends Martha and Mia, who are visiting from Norway, over at their resort near Disney. We're gonna go to Disney and hang out, have some fun. At the last second, I said, "Hey, can we do a podcast real quick? I thought you guys would be interesting to talk to." So this is being done in like a resort rooms, lots of tile, the sliding glass door. It's not a good environment for recording, which you'll hear. The sound quality is not terrible, it's not great. Also at this time I didn't have actual nice mic stands. There's like a little tripod they came on, so the mics would sit on a desk away from your face. You had to like lean down to talk into them. So having their mouths close to the mic wasn't really a way to have a natural conversation. So oftentimes they're not speaking directly into it. So long story short, the sound quality not great. The conversation quality in the beginning also not very great. You're kind of awkward catching up a little bit and kind of getting the swing of things, but about after the first 15 minutes or so, it starts getting really interesting. We talk a lot about Norway's socialized healthcare and have some really good conversations about the way lifestyle is there and the way that we are perceived here versus things there. It has been a really cool conversation. So, without further ado, my friends Martha and Mia. Hey, thanks for being here with me today. Go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Hi guys, my name is Martha. I'm here with my friend Mia.
Hello, from Norway.
Yep.
My name is Mia, and I'm here with Martha and Justin.
What are y'all doing here?
Vacation. On a girls' trip. Well needed girls' trip.
Now, when's the last time? Because we met 11 years ago. You
Yeah.
came down here. Were you doing like the Disney college program?
No, I was on another girls' trip.
Move the mic a little closer to your face. Or move your face a little closer to the mic. Either way, I'm happy.
Cool.
All right. So you just came to vacation last time. How'd you meet Wendy? 'Cause that's how we met.
Wendy? Oh man, that's I met her through my sister, cause Wendy was my sister coordinator, I think, when she was working at Epcot.
Oh, so your sister worked at Epcot. Then you came to visit.
Yeah.
Met Wendy through her.
I met her like once, I think, before the accident.
Before my accident?
Not your accident, Wendy's.
Oh, that's right. We shared that.
Mm-hmm.
It was before mine too, though.
Probably.
That's
I didn't
fine.
know
This
you that
is not
time.
about me right now. I mean, usually it is. Right now, it's not.
Not right now, no. But then Wendy had that accident, and my sister's freaking out. We're back home, and she's like, "Well, I gotta go see her at the hospital." She had just woken up from the coma, and I was like, "Wait, we going to Florida?" Like, all right, let's go. So we just like emptied our savings accounts and just like hopped on a plane and went. And then when Wendy saw us at the hospital, she like freaked out. She was like, "Wow," just like making
Like a good freak out, or was she terrified?
Good. Like
Okay.
she recognized it. She got like happy.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was real nice. And then I met her again later on. Well, a year after, because that one when that was in Bell.
That's when I met you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that was, I think, 2009, right?
2009.
Must have been. Yeah, I think it was 2009.
No, wait, hang on. This ain't right.
So was like math a popular subject in Norway?
She's not as strong as
Leave me alone. This is not nice. Okay, I think my sister did the program at Epcot in 2008 or 9. Because I did 11, 12. And she's 3 years older than me.
Well, long story short, we've known each other for a long time. Like 10 years, plus or minus.
Yeah.
And how many times have you been here since we met? Twice?
I can't count how many times I've been here. It's been a good amount.
So where else in the States have you been?
Been to California.
Where in California?
Went to San Marcos because my friend was living there because he was studying, and I went to LA because my cousin's there. Yeah, and then I've been to Washington D.C. and Maryland, Baltimore because my ex lived there.
Oh, okay.
And then of course Florida.
Which one's your favorite?
Florida.
Good answer.
I also like California.
That's okay.
The dry heat. It's a nice change.
Yeah, the no humidity is pretty nice.
Yeah.
I'll give you that one. That's
Thank
fine.
you.
The ocean's way too cold though. You can't go in the water. You can, but it's not fun.
Here?
There.
No, I did. It was nice.
Well, you're from Norway. Everything's cold and crazy for you. I bet it's like a warm dip in a hot tub.
Actually, I almost died
From the cold?
from the currents. Currents.
Like the rip currents? Yeah.
I do not know how I survived. Legit.
So do you ever like go to the beach and go swimming in Norway?
Yeah.
They have like rip currents and tides there too?
No.
Sharks?
No.
Any like water predators?
Jellyfish.
Like a lot or?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. The ones that burn, they like sting you.
Now is peeing on a jellyfish sting a thing in Norway too?
Yeah.
Does it work?
I don't know.
I've been
Never
stung,
did that
but I've never
nasty.
been bold enough to try it.
Exactly. Me neither.
Fair enough. So, you live in Oslo now. That's the capital. So I don't know a lot. I really should know more about Norway, considering we've been friends for a while. But I know, I just don't care.
Ooh,
And-
wow.
No, so
Noted.
Oslo's the capital. How long have you lived there?
Like all together because I live in 2 different times.
Okay, so sure, like round it up. I gotta stop asking math
7
questions.
years?
6 years?
6, 7 years.
Okay. So compared to what city would you say in the United States that you've been to is the most like Oslo? Does it compare at all?
None of them.
None of them?
It is no.
So like why not? What's so different?
Everything is different. Oh wait, no, actually, because we're probably up in Baltimore around there, because the climate is more close to what we have.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just the climate's the thing that's the same, or the city, like the structures, the people, the way people are similar?
The buildings are kind of different, and the people are very different. Like Norwegians are cold. Like, don't talk to me, don't touch me, give me my personal space, or I will cuss you the fuck out.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why we're not worried about getting this virus, because we have personal space. Bye.
Do you think so? Is it easier to meet people in America than it is in
Yes.
Norway? Really?
Yes. Yeah.
Now,
100%.
is that just Norwegians just not like other people at all, no matter where you're from, or is it a Norwegian thing?
It's a Norwegian thing against everyone.
Okay, so
Like,
I could go
one
there and
people.
they'd still all hate me.
They're like,
Oh, I guess
why are you talking to me? What do you want? Can I help you?
interesting. So everyone's just on their iPhones all the time. No one's talking to each other. Very distant.
Unless they're drinking.
Some people
So
are nice.
what's that?
Some people are nice.
Are you one of the nice ones?
No.
Yeah, you have to wait that long to answer. Probably not.
It can be. Depends.
All right. So Mia, do you live in Oslo now too?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, how do you like it? Just what Martha says, pretty much the way it is.
Almost. I like it because I talk to people and I'm a nice person.
No, I like Oslo too, and I do talk to people, but in general, people are like,
Norwegian people are weird, but
Weird in what way? I mean, everybody's weird.
as Martha said, they don't talk to you before you
engage in
ask them
conversation with
something?
them.
So they won't like come forward and they won't approach you unless you talk
Yeah.
to them first. You have to engage.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Mia, is this your first time to the States?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So first time States, came to Florida. You've been here since Monday, so about a week now.
Yes.
This is going to release way after we actually record this, but today's Thursday. So you've been here almost a week.
Mm-hmm.
How do you like it so far?
I love it.
What have you done?
We went to Epcot, and I've been to Walmart for the first time. That was a shock.
To you, that's like,
That's
wow, Walmart.
two
But there's like,
opposite ends of the
my
spectrum.
God. Oh
For
my
you,
God.
maybe that is weird. For me, I was like,
What'd you think of Walmart?
they have a lot of different stuff. Weird stuff.
Weird stuff, weird people.
I saw, I'm sorry, what's just the biggest one I have ever seen.
A giant. You're holding your hands
Like
up
a whole
3
like
feet.
sausage of ground beef. Like we have like small packets at home. We don't have the sizes that you do. That's why it's like, what the fuck? Can you finish this before it's like full of like mold and shit? It's crazy.
I mean, it might be for a big family or like 2 average
We have
sized
big
Americans.
families too.
2 families.
Okay, so that brings us to another question I'm curious about now. So, Floridians and Americans in general have got a big problem with obesity.
Yeah.
Do you see a lot of that issue in Norway too?
Not to the also you guys have. No.
Not as bad as we have it.
Mhm.
What would you say, like, the average body type in Norway? Are people pretty active there? I feel like it's always cold. You just shiver. You just shiver all the calories off.
I do, but I'm so big.
Most of the big people are active.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, they go to the gym a lot. People are working out, or is it?
Yes.
I don't, but they do.
Okay, cool. So, what would you say? Well, Martha, you come here a lot. You see a lot of Americans. You travel all around. What's like the funniest thing Americans think about Norwegians that's wrong? Like, what would you tell someone who's just meeting an American or Norwegian for the first time? Like, what are the weird misconceptions or the dumb things we say?
No, well, I don't really ask them a lot, but like the thing that they always say to me is like, "How do you speak English so well?"
We've heard
It's
that
like,
many
well, we do have
times.
school, and I speak it a lot because I have friends in the States, etc. So practice makes perfect,
Right.
right?
I was one of those people that said that when we first met too. So your English was very fluent. You're really good at it. So you get taught what age do you start learning English in school? Like everyone in school starts learning English at a certain age?
Like 7, 8, right?
Okay, and that's how often do you use English in Norway?
Every day.
Just because.
So that's me.
Okay, so that's like in like everyday life. Like, how many people usually do you ever communicate in English in Norway, or do you just do it for school, or just for you being someone that's come to the States a lot?
Så klart.
Hvor ofte du bruker det?
Nei, hvor ofte man bruker ikke det til Norge.
I would say normally, maybe once a month.
Let's say, like, if you're just hanging out with friends in Norway, would you ever say anything?
There's
in
a
English?
lot of diverse people in Oslo. Not all of them speak Norwegian. So sometimes you gotta like flip over to the English side.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I haven't done a whole lot of traveling in Europe, but English always seemed to be like the common language that everyone seems to kind of know at least enough of to get by.
Yeah.
Also, a thing about Norwegian people, not everybody's confident enough to talk English.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so they may know some, but they don't feel
if you
confident
went
saying it.
there, they will probably say, that way, bye.
They
Nothing
feel
more.
insecure, you know. They don't want to mess up.
Interesting. So is that something that kind of permeates your whole culture? Like, are a lot of people in Norway afraid to mess stuff up?
Yes.
Fair enough. I guess every culture has that to an extent, that people don't want to make mistakes a lot.
You
It'd
know
be
what I'm saying? Like
embarrassing.
if you were to like speak Spanish to someone and you had Spanish a little bit at school, but you haven't, practiced it after school, You don't feel like confident in speaking Spanish.
Oh, I'm not confident now. The first thing I say in Spanish is, sorry, I'm bad at Spanish.
Exactly.
And then I'll go on with whatever else I'm trying to say.
It's the same about us. If
Okay.
you don't practice it, you're not going to feel confident, So,
Okay. Well, that sounds like a human thing.
right.
We all have that to an extent.
Exactly.
Well, that's cool. So, I had a bunch of different questions I was going to ask, and I should have written them all down. So more about like Norway itself, because it seems like you have a lot of really interesting history. Like, how much history do you get in school? Do you learn history just from your parents or from the school itself? It's from school. Okay, so what did you guys like history in school? What's some interesting Norwegian history facts?
Well, Vikings, first of all.
That's the go-to.
Yeah.
When you think of Nordic countries, Vikings, what everyone's think of.
Because that is our history. Yeah. The most known, the most famous history of Scandinavia is Vikings.
Is there a lot of Viking artwork and stuff like that around Norway?
No.
Did you guys kind of embrace that culture, or no?
No, it's
museums.
Museums.
There was a big Viking museum in Oslo, right? What is it? Have you seen the show Vikings?
No.
It's on Netflix, I think. Sorry, my phone's ringing. No? So, because you don't want to watch Viking stuff? Are you kind of sick of it? Do you want to experience different stuff? Or
haven't seen it.
Oh, you just
I
haven't
haven't
seen it?
gone around to it, honestly.
Okay.
I have friends who work on it, do makeup. So cool.
Oh, it's because you're really into makeup and... Well, tell us about that.
Okay. Well, I'm a special effects makeup artist. So, I don't.
So you're a special effects maker. I mean, for TV, for cinema.
Everything. Whatever you need makeup or prosthetics for, I'm here.
Is there a certain genre of entertainment you like horror, doing bloody gashes and stuff, or
Yeah,
you
that's fun.
the horror stuff?
The nasty stuff. Every time my friends cut themselves or burn themselves, I'm send pictures, good ones, good quality ones, close up. Show me. Yeah.
So you study it and recreate it?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So what would your dream job be with that? Would you work on a movie set or TV show?
Movie set is what I want to do. So I'm trying to figure out how to get there because it's a process.
Excuse me. So you had school in Norway for it, right? I'd see on your Snapchat and stuff. You'd be doing all kinds of crazy cool makeup things.
Yeah. Yeah, I went to school in Oslo. I did a 1-year study for makeup, beauty makeup and all this stuff. And then I did 1 year for special effects makeup.
That's pretty cool. So what would the next step be? So you went through school, you got a certificate saying
Yeah.
Is there a certification or a license you get or a diploma?
Diploma, yeah.
Okay. So what's next? What do you do?
Well, you should continue practice it. I haven't really could do that, but now I have an internship here in Orlando. Well, actually, it's in Apopka.
It's all the same kind of area, yeah. But in Central Florida.
I just call it
popcorn. That's a funny sound.
popcorn.
So when does that start?
As soon as I get a visa. Hard.
Well, talk about the process there, because a lot of Americans don't even know the process to getting a visa or immigrating here.
Well, first of all, last year when I was here for an interview to go to a school here to do more special effects. And the school wasn't approved to have international students, so she had someone come over and get it approved, but it still hasn't gone through. It's been over a year now. Kind of gave it up after 6 months. So I called up a guy that I know named Andy, because when I was studying special effects in Oslo, we had this 1 week work week in the industry, I guess. And I asked my teacher, can I go wherever I want to go? Yeah. Okay, well, cool, I'm going to Florida. So, went to Florida. I had a blast for that week. Oh my God, he's so cool. So when the school kind of like I say it's not gonna work out. I called him, told him like, hey, so I'm thinking I should be an intern with you. Let me tell you why.
It's a bold move.
Worked. So now I'm trying to get a visa, and we were trying to do it like together, but I didn't get approved for some stuff that I need to get approved for. So now I'm trying to find another way. I'm trying to see if maybe like there's a visa called B1, B2. It's for like 6 months, so it's not really that much. But I don't know what else to do. So I want to try that. See if we can go through the things that I need to go through, and then apply for a job at Universal Studios.
Oh, that'd be a perfect place for you.
Yeah.
So what's the process for applying for that? Those visas like? Is it easier to get the short ones than the longer term ones?
I don't know. I'm trying to get into this visa thing, but it's hard. It's a lot of like stuff you need to know. So much paperwork.
Yeah, anything with the government over here is a nightmare. So, have you submitted any of it yet, or are you just trying to figure out what you even need to turn in?
Yeah, that one. Yes,
the one, just trying to figure out what it is you got to do.
Like, I'm just like in a moment of freaking out. What do I do? Where do I start?
When you find out, let me know. Or maybe we can walk through it together some, because I'm really curious. I really should know more about this than I do. I have friends from all over the place who have asked me, like, hey, how can I get a visa or come over? And I just send them the link for like the government website, being like, I don't know, this looks like where the steps are, but I was born here, I never really learned any of that. There's not a whole lot of really useful government stuff we learn in school. Yeah. There's really nothing that touches much on immigration. So it's a topic we're unfortunately pretty ignorant on sometimes.
I feel like all of us are.
Yeah, well, it's a super niche kind of thing too. Like, not a ton of people in your daily life are like, oh, let's try to get a visa. It's like, it's not something that comes up very often. It's a very specific one and done kind of thing, I feel like.
There's so many types of visas for like specific reason why you going, how long, permanent. That's gonna be a big process, and you're gonna be like have a lot of eyes on you. It's hard.
It sounds like it. It sounds like a nightmare.
I'm hoping me working at Epcot. So I'm in your system because I had a social security number. I think I hope that's gonna help me a little bit.
I feel like it should. It makes sense
Right?
that it would. I mean, you've already been working here, making money in the States, contributing. Because, if you're getting paid here via through Epcot or through Disney, then you're paying taxes. As long as they can suck money out of you, it should be fine.
Oh my god. Well, I hope it'll be a good thing. We'll see what happens.
So does Norway get a lot of people immigrating there?
Yes.
From where mostly? And for what?
Mostly.
There's a lot of Africans.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Like certain regions in Africa, or from the whole continent?
I feel like all over.
Really?
Yeah.
What attracts Africans in particular to Norway?
Rich country.
Okay. So, are they like a lot of educated people, or they do certain kinds of work, or?
Many of them are.
Really? Like, what would you say a typical job is? Like the number one job people from Africa get into in Norway?
Dentist.
Dentists?
Yeah. And doctors.
So healthcare.
Yeah.
So is healthcare in Norway government run?
Yeah.
So you have
most of it. Most of it.
Do you have like a public side or a private side sector too? Just
yeah.
So let's say you're going about your day, break your foot, you go to a hospital, you're a Norwegian citizen, you get care. You got to pay anything? How's it work? Healthcare is a hot topic here right now, so I'm curious how it works at other places.
You're not paying that much. You just have your own small amount. Yeah.
It's not like if you break your foot, go to the ER, you don't really pay them much. I would say between $20 and $30
for like an X-ray, getting a cast, for everything. Now, do you guys have health insurance? Like health insurance companies, or you do? So that's extra on top of what you would get from the government?
They will help me if I get really sick. They will pay or help me to pay.
Okay. So for like smaller
Medication.
things, you kind of pay for that yourself because it doesn't cost very much. But then you have insurance for if it's something really big, like you need surgery or you're really sick for a long time.
Yeah.
How expensive are medications over there? Does that usually go through like insurance, or is that?
It depends what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
Like Tylenol is not gonna cost the same as morphine.
Naturally. Okay, so what about like insulin? Any idea?
I think that's expensive.
A little bit. Yeah. So some things will be more pricey, but not on your level because y'all are crazy.
Yeah, it gets a little embarrassing sometimes. So, well, let's say you are really sick and you need to get surgery. Is there like a long waiting list to get special services done? Like if you need like an MRI or a CT scan,
no,
you just pretty much right away you're good.
Again, it depends.
Last summer, I had a couple. I had a couple of seizures, like my entire left side went like numb, like it just like shut down.
Oh my god!
Crazy.
And I was like, ugh, annoying. It would last for like a couple minutes. It first happened when I was at work. Then later on, I went out with Mia and other friends. It happened a couple of times. Mia was freaking the fuck out because I had to sit down. I was like,
I had to force her to go to the doctors.
yeah, she took her drunk ass and dragged me to the ER. And I was like, well, this is stupid. I'm fine. Look at me.
What was that here?
That's weird. All right, I'm gonna pause. Okay, sorry, we had to stop real quick. We are doing this at their resort, and someone brought fresh towels. So, all right, so back into. So you were saying you were getting like one-sided seizures. Mm-hmm. Okay, go ahead.
I think it was just stress, honestly. But okay, so they were freaking out because I didn't really know how long they were lasting, and Mia was like, "It's like 10 minutes." Like, what's the game was? And then me not realizing how long they lasted, that kind of like set up alarms, I guess.
Hey, anytime you're having like loss of control on one side of your body, all the alarms should be going off, regardless of how long it's going on.
I didn't feel like I was dying, so I felt fine.
I'm on Team Mia for this one.
Of course, everyone is, but that's I'm kind of like crazy.
Well, it's also because I'm a paramedic, and that's why I'm like, it's bad. Yeah,
she was moving like it.
I was looking like a lopsided or something.
Like, we just got here. You only had 2 drinks. You should not be looking like that yet. Let's go to the hospital.
Sober like,
you were sober doing that?
Yeah.
Definitely something wrong.
Really drink,
so then there's no excuse. It's definitely that.
Well, so okay.
Anyway, so you go to the ER.
They sent me to the hospital for tests. Okay. Obviously. I did the CAT scan, I did the MRI, I did everything.
Yeah, all that right away at the same time. Oh, wait, you got the MRI at the same time? Well, like, how long were you at the hospital getting all these tests?
I had to spend the night.
Okay.
I did tests. Well, I arrived in the morning time around 6, 7, I think. And they put me in with this big
That's the MRI,
yeah. I did that. Then they took me. And they did put some shit on my head.
Oh, they put like the wires and the stickers on your head and did an EEG.
Cool. Yes.
Sure.
Yeah,
why not?
Yeah. Echo. So we call it. So they did a lot of different things. They did 4 different things, I think.
So it sounds like you got some really in-depth tests done.
Yes, because they were like, "The fuck is wrong with you?"
Right. Now, did you ever have one of those episodes while you were at the hospital?
I had it that morning. I got in there. I had one, and she was just like looking at me like, "Oh, okay, that's happening." And I'm like, Sorry, hang on. I'm just gonna write this out. Hang on.
So you were like conscious and aware of this.
I was aware.
You would just like lose kind of movement, almost like paralyzed on one side.
Yeah, like I couldn't I just had lean on my left side.
Okay, that gangster lean on the one side.
Yeah.
Every now and then.
Didn't really feel like gangster, but
If I didn't look for a gangster either.
So yeah, I had to spend the night and then I had to do some more tests and more because I felt fine.
Did they find anything?
No, every test was perfect. It was good. And then they sent me to do a test for my heart.
Okay. Like watching your blood flow and
see if there's anything wrong. If I have any
clots or blockages.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Well, your heart is super healthy. You look really freaking healthy. Everything was perfect."
Okay, so you went through a ton of tests.
Yeah.
Didn't wait very long for any of them.
No.
Was it expensive? Or do you have health insurance too that helped pay for that stuff? Or
I don't think I paid anything at all.
So they're talking to themselves in Norwegian, trying to figure out how to say it in English.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I just want to make sure
trying to figure out
my 3 listeners aren't confused.
Sorry.
No, so they're doing that. They're not talking to me. I have no idea what they're saying. They're talking to each other.
I don't really think I paid anything at all. I don't remember paying anything.
Interesting.
If I did, it would be $23.
Because something like that here, if you don't have good insurance, would be a nightmare. Devastating financial burden.
I have travel insurance.
It depends, because insurance companies here are so confusing, because some hospitals will charge one insurance company this amount for an x-ray, but then they'll charge another insurance company something else, because it depends on what they think they can get for it. They're always negotiating prices and trying different stuff out. It's not a clear x-ray costs this much, this penicillin costs this much, insulin costs this much. It all varies wildly because insurance companies kind of arbitrarily make up what they're going to pay for stuff. So hospitals change and just try to get the most they can out of the insurance companies. And the insurance companies are constantly trying to pay as little as they can. It's like negotiating on a farmer's market, but with people's lives on the line.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of a nightmare. Well, I had a patient from France yesterday who was over here. She was on some antibiotics for infection. She was about to run out, but she was still feeling kind of bad. So she asked me, hey, where can I go get some more? And so I explained, we go to a walk-in clinic and speak to a doctor or a mid-level provider there, and then there's this and that. I asked if she had travel insurance, and this whole process trying to find a way for her to just get care that wasn't going to cost her a fortune was a nightmare and really embarrassing. Yeah. So on the flip side, on the one hand, for me, I wish that we had a cheap or cost-effective form of healthcare for everybody that comes here, for everyone that lives here. But our government programs are pretty terribly run. So if we did, let's say, because do you guys, how much of American politics do you guys pay attention to? Perfect. How many people here pay much attention to it? So this is an election year for president, and one of the candidates, his big platform is healthcare for everybody. He wants the government to run all the healthcare. That way, we pay a little more in taxes, but everyone's covered.
Like we do.
Right. Yeah. So it sounds great on paper. It sounds awesome. On the flip side, though, we have in certain different ways government-funded healthcare. So we have Medicare. So if you make a certain low amount of income or certain circumstances, then you can have the government pay for your healthcare that way. Or we have, if you've ever been in the military here, you can go to what's called the VA, and that's all your healthcare stuff's paid for by the government there. And both of those programs are incredibly inefficiently run. They've got very, very, very top heavy. They have a lot of administrative fees, and nothing really works very well. There have been cases where in the VA, the military hospitals, they've straight up basically killed people through neglect. So these are America's fighting forces, and we're not taking care of them. Expanding the program to everyone, I just don't trust that it's going to take care of us. On the other side of that, too, is how much it's going to cost. We'd have to raise taxes quite a bit for it to actually be able to afford it.
And again, we're already trillions and trillions of dollars in debt as we speak. Like, we are hemorrhaging money. Like, as bad as I made fun of you for not doing math very well, I should make fun of the government way more, because they are terrible at it. Every time a new budget is signed, they raise the debt ceiling. They say, oh, we can only be this much in debt. Every time they make a new budget, they'll, oh, we can be this much in debt now, and raise it every single friggin' time. So it's tough. I'm in a weird spot where I'm idealistic. So I want everybody to have healthcare. It's really, really, again, I was embarrassed talking to this French woman yesterday, saying I'm trying to figure out a way that you can find help but not have to pay a lot of money. But then on the other hand too, I don't know if that kind of system in the United States would be effective. So I'm always curious the way things work in different countries. And it's tough because a lot of people compare the way that European countries like Norway, Sweden, Finland, United Kingdom, the way they run it, but it's such a smaller nation.
We're 5 million people.
Right. We've got that in some of our cities here.
Yeah.
So it's
gonna be different.
It's not gonna work like copy and paste. There's
Right.
gotta be some kind of way to find a new solution, I feel like, and no one's really presenting it. So the solutions always seem to be either we'll just keep this broken system that we have, we get good healthcare, but it's expensive, that's the trade-off for good healthcare. And the other side is, oh, we'll just get terrible healthcare, but everyone's got it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I feel like there should be a middle ground, and it's a long, complicated kind of thing we could probably talk about for hours and not get it right. But that's where I'm at on this side anyway. So that's why I was asking about. That's why I was curious about it. So I'm always curious talking to somebody, because this one candidate that's going, Bernie Sanders, is going for president. He's in the lead right now, actually,
He's
for the Democratic Party. Yeah, you talked about him before. Yeah. So whenever I hear, yeah, little bald white dude. So whenever I have a chance to actually talk to somebody that is from these countries he's always talking about, I'm like, well, how is it? You know, I'd always have to get your opinion on it. It sounds pretty good.
Yeah. I really shouldn't complain, honestly.
Now, so when you get
flaws, but it's not like as I wish like nation compared to what you guys can do.
What would the flaws be? Like the minor stuff, or so? I mean, everyone's gonna want the full picture. So we talked about the good side of it. Let's talk about the bad side too. We gotta have a full conversation.
Well, we do like crazy waiting lists for bigger and more like what's the word?
Invasive,
high risk and stuff like heart transplant.
Okay.
Yeah, like it'll be, and I have my mom is very sick, which has been for as long as I can remember. It's like a million things. Now she's lost her she can't taste food. They have no idea why, and they can't figure it out. So they kind of like put it aside, and so she changed her doctor. So he's like, okay, well, let's figure this out, and they still have no idea. Like they're not like they kind of like give up a little bit.
Okay, so
after a little while.
So if it gets to a point where you use like a certain amount of the healthcare's resources and it doesn't fix it within that certain amount of time, just kind of push you off someone else and try to start it over again?
Yeah.
Okay, because that's what I hear a lot of people saying as a counter argument to government-run healthcare is that if you do need a specialized procedure or a transplant, you go on a waiting list that's forever long, and you may end up dying there waiting for something that you could have gotten if you're able to pay for it.
Also, I have a really, really, really big lipoma. Mm-hmm. And I've been turned down every time.
So for those that don't know what that is,
they're like scared to like remove it because it's so big.
Will you explain what that is for those who don't know?
It's like a fat tumor.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's not like I don't have cancer.
So, but they're afraid to remove it because
it's so big. Usually, it's like okay, well we do centimeters, so it's like usually 5 centimeters wide. Mine is like close to 30. This big ass lump right here.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a tumor.
No pun intended. That's a bummer.
It's on my head.
So that's another big argument against the government-run healthcare tier too. Is you don't have choice. So it sounded like your mom had one doctor, and you took her to another one.
She got another doctor.
Okay.
Like, they wouldn't change the doctor unless she said, like, hey, I want a new doctor. We have to take things into our own hands a lot to get things done.
And is that effective? Like, do you usually get things done when you do take things into your own hands, or do you end up hitting a roadblock there
usually,
too?
yes. Depends what the case is, of course. Like, it's like a case to case.
Right.
It's like super severe, like invasive, big, blah, blah. It's gonna be harder.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for my mom, it's gonna be harder. For me, for example, I had a type of sleep medication that was fucking me up a big way. Like, it was horrible. And I shouldn't have taken it for a long time, and I did. And I went to a doctor and said, hey, can't take this shit anymore because it is making me, like, into a zombie. I am having memory loss. I am aggressive. This is not nice. I feel worse, like, taking this after I sleep for a little bit. So I want to try this out because I've been doing research and I've been talking to people. This is what I should take. He's like, okay, cool. And he just gave it to me.
Really?
Really. Yeah. And it's been working wonders. Like, it's better. Like, it's actually allergy medicine, but it's mostly used for sleep issues. Right?
Oh, like Benadryl here often. Like, a lot of side effects to antihistamines or allergy medications is drowsiness and helps you sleep.
What it is.
So it sounds like in that case, you did your research, you presented it, you talked to the doc, so it sounded like he's like, okay, here you go.
Yeah.
So do you feel like a lot of people have choice in the way they are treated, or is it pretty much like, did you have more options? Like, if a doctor says, hey, this is what I want to do, and you're like, I don't know about that, do you have other options, or is it the doctor's way or the highway?
Options if you say that.
Okay.
But if you don't know shit, and you just go for what your doctor, because you trust your doctor, right?
Right.
They're supposed to know.
Right.
But if you do research and you're like, okay, well, I probably should do this, I should probably do this, and you say it to your doctor, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, cool, okay, cool, yeah, that's probably smart. They're like, okay, cool, yeah, let's do that.
Huh.
Then they do that.
Interesting. So would you say, like, doctors are happy working under these systems? Like, do you know anyone in the medical field that they have any complaints about the way they work?
I'm frustrated about my diploma case.
What about your case? So you're frustrated because they won't operate?
He's been like throwing, like, it's this, fuck.
Just yeeting his desk across the
room.
room.
Like hammering down on the keyboard, like, oh, you gotta take this girl. They're like, oh, like, he's angry. They're not taking me in to look at it.
Does that kind of thing happen a lot? Or like doctors will advocate for their patients to get certain kind of procedures, but the doctors will be like, no, we're not going down that route. Do you think that's because it's a risk to you, or because there's only so many resources they can use and they have to save it for everybody?
I think they're more scared of my case. Like, they don't know how severe it is, if it's like into like muscle tissue and in my head, if it's gonna be like worse if I do take it out.
That's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like it may be more risky to pull it out. So right now, I mean,
like,
they don't know. It's inconvenient, I'm sure, but
like where it stops on like this side.
Oh, so they start cutting. They might not know how far they gotta cut. They might do more damage cutting it out.
X-ray of it, but they haven't seen it because they don't take me in. They're just not taking me in so I can show it to them.
So they won't even look at it.
Yeah. Like, they took me in to take an X-ray, but that's it.
Pretty frustrating.
Right? Yeah. I've been trying for like over a year to remove this bitch.
Is it painful? It's inconvenient for sure.
It's
but
not. I've had it for me all my life. That's because I always had like a bigger lobe from this side, but they're like, I just thought I was blown up. Because I've always been big, so it's there. Like, I haven't really thought about it.
Right.
The past couple weeks, it has started to, like, if I sleep on the left side, it's on my right side. If I sleep on my left side, I actually feel like some like it gets like uncomfortable, and I feel like it's just like tingly, like weird.
Okay.
And then that's just weird. Like, that shouldn't happen at all. It never has.
It's not getting bigger, is it?
It's always getting bigger. Slowly but surely, yes.
Well, that seems like a huge issue.
Duh.
Like a very immediate kind of to.
Duh.
Well, tell your doctors, not me.
I have.
I'm saying I drive an ambulance.
I know,
saying
but
this.
I have told told him.
Well, your doctor sounds like he's on the right path. He knows that's super frustrating.
Yes.
So so that sounds like you're at kind of a
Like if
situation
I
that you
hit,
don't.
like pressure, like if I hit it against something, like it's like fucking painful. Like,
So is your
fucking
doc
hurts.
reaching out to a bunch of different doctors?
Yes,
And nobody.
a bunch of different clinics that deal with that type of stuff. And they're like, well, we haven't done like that big of a coma, so we can, we do smaller cases. This is a case that's too big for us. So fuck you then. Where do I go?
Is that story common where you have an outlier situation that may be more risky than others, and the government-run healthcare kind of doesn't want to touch it? I know it's tough asking because you're not involved in it that much. I'm just curious, like news stories come out.
I haven't really asked people if they have cases similar to me, or regarding other stuff that's needs to be taken care of.
Right.
I know it's like that for my mom, and I can talk for my mom about me, but
okay, that's fair. That's very honest.
Having our cases being difficult, there's probably other cases too. Assuming.
Do you know anyone that's had treatment or surgical stuff done in the States versus waiting for stuff in Norway? So I've heard about that from Canada and the UK, or going to see specialists over here because if you can pay enough, we'll do whatever.
Well, I had my aunt do surgery, emergency surgery.
Well, no, was she here when it happened?
Yes.
Oh, that's different. I mean, that's something that's come from Norway to the States.
I have one friend.
Yeah.
She was doing surgery in
Lean a little bit closer than me. I'm sorry.
Okay. She was doing surgery in Turkey first, a butt lift, and she found out she had breast implants. And it could be deadly. So she went to New York, talked to a doctor. She had to do that. So she went there a couple of times and got them out, put something in there again. And nobody in Norway would do that. All the doctors said no. So she had to go to the States.
So she was in Turkey.
Yeah.
She
It's
had
a big plastic.
she had
something there.
she had boob implants in her butt,
She did.
and then she went to Norway. They wouldn't take them out, so she came to the States. So it's definitely, it fits in the question I asked for sure. But where did she get the implants put in? Because that is the
Where?
most, as literally asked backwards.
Yes.
But podcast with Justin Timberlake.
Well, she looks good now.
First, is she okay? I don't want to laugh about this.
She's
She's
okay.
100% okay.
She's okay.
Okay. All right.
She's having a
Ooh,
good
dodge
time.
that lawsuit. Okay, that's
She's
good.
having a good time.
Yes.
That is really. So, would you say most people in Norway are happy with the healthcare they're receiving?
Yes, I would. Yes, I would. Like
Yeah.
Why'd you hesitate?
your average person, yes. If there's a person who has a long medical history, probably not that happy.
They feel like it's
Like my
they're
mom.
not getting the care.
I'm
Yeah.
frustrated. Because, but for me, who I'm usually very healthy.
Mhm.
I don't get sick a lot. Nothing serious. I'm content.
So it sounds like Norwegians are very active. It sounds like y'all are pretty healthy in general. So it sounds like the culture that keeps themselves fit and trying to avoid needing healthcare. It sounds like that works out great.
Yeah, it does.
Bummer about America is with this whole freedom thing we have, a lot of us just eat garbage and don't exercise, and a lot of people just don't take care of themselves whatsoever. So there's also an argument to be made from a lot of us who are active and trying to stay fit and take care of ourselves. Well, if we're all paying more taxes for healthcare, a lot of people aren't going to take care of themselves. We're basically enabling them or paying them when they're not taking care of themselves in the first place.
There's a horrible attitude in general with people.
People that are lazy are the ones that don't want to pay for those who don't take care of themselves.
If they feel like, okay, well, if I pay more taxes, they're going to take better care of me. And you just continue eating garbage. That's a horrible attitude.
Right. So
people need to talk to therapists, you know?
So I've been a paramedic for about 10 years now, and the people so we call people that go to the hospital repeatedly frequent flyers. We call 911 a lot, and typically the people that I see the most, that go to the hospital the most, and that use the ER as like a primary care doctor, are the ones who are on these social healthcare programs. They go in, they go out, they don't take their medicines, they don't get prescriptions filled, they keep eating garbage, and they don't take care of themselves. The next thing you know, and they're feeling bad, they call 911 again, ship them to the hospital, government foots the bill, and they get back out with some follow-up instructions they're not going to follow. It's a vicious cycle that a lot of people do. And obviously not everybody. I can't speak for everyone, but it's a significant enough of the population that anyone you talk to in the healthcare field understands that this is an issue. So a lot of people are also concerned that if we just pay for healthcare for everybody, people are going to use it as a crutch, not take care of themselves. So then you have people who are working to keep themselves healthy, paying money into a system where it's just enabling others to be unhealthy and lazy and not take care of themselves. So I mean, it's a very, very complicated issue, and I'm not going to get any kind of answers or really much insight. I just want to talk to you guys because you're from a place I haven't been to that has a system that someone here is talking about a lot. So I always like to actually, instead of just Googling stuff all day like I usually do, I'm like, well, let me hear what is it actually like from people who live there, who have the actual experience with the systems, and give me a little more insight into it, because I've never spent any kind of significant amount of time outside of the States to experience any of that anywhere else. Plus, I like learning. I'm a nerd.
Medical nerd.
No, I'm all kinds of nerds. Medicine, dragons, whatever.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
Maybe a little bit. No. Well, hang on. We'll wrap it up then, you guys.
It's right here.
Oh, is it? Oh. You have Deadpool underwear on.
Yep.
All right, well, that's concluded this podcast. Thank you guys for listening. I gotta get the video component of this working sometime. All right, so thank you guys for listening. If do you guys have Twitter? You want me to plug some social media for you? Want to get some followers? By some, I mean maybe two. Get the old,
we have Instagram.
Yeah, we don't do Twitter. No. All
right, well, plug what you got. If anyone wants to follow you, get some Norwegian friends. What's your Instagram?
Anderson underscore or not underscore
dash the little one in the middle.
Yeah. FX. Anderson SEN. It's not Anderson. Anderson. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Mia, what's yours?
Here by Mia Siriam.
Say it one more time for me.
Here by Mia Siriam.
Perfect. And then anyone listening to this is probably my friend on Facebook already. But if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at the Tyndall. TheTindel. Thank you guys for listening. Oh, and a real quick note: if you hear children screaming earlier, the room's by the pool, and it's that and not any other kind of weird Norwegian stuff. All right, thanks. Bye.
Bye.